Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning for the 10th annual Stop for Nikhil Kickoff event. I hope you all are doing well. My name is Sangeeta Badlani, and I'm the founder and president of Nikhil Badlani Foundation. And I'm also your host for this morning's program. I'm going to pause for a moment here. I'm issuing a challenge to all of you. Share this video on your timeline and set up a fundraiser for Nikhil Badlani Foundation. Sunil and I will match 100% of the funds that we raise on Facebook today by the end of the day. So get on your phones, your computers, and share this video with the people that you're friends with. Now, this is the first of its kind of Stop for Nikhil event, just like many other events that have been hosted so far. I am at the West Orange High School today, where we hold our Stop for Nikhil event every year. However, we have very few people representing the foundation and the community. I am missing the energy that I see every year at this event. But even though we are not together in person, we are together in spirits. Hope everyone is staying healthy. I want to give our kudos to all the essential workers who put their life at risk for us during this COVID-19. And also our deepest condolences to the families who lost their loved ones. And those who have been affected, we wish you a speedy recovery. It's hard to believe that it's our 10th anniversary. This event started on a whim as a celebration for Nikhil's birthday. And now this is the only race in New Jersey about traffic safety. Over the last 10 years, we have successfully passed the Nikhil's Law. And this law is now on the written test and administered by the New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission. We have educated around 7,600 students in 25 high schools and impacted about 30,000 students through our Driver's Ed Through Art initiative. We have provided 155,000 in academic scholarships to graduating seniors to 95 students across Essex County, Bergen, and Union County. We have provided over 2,800 hours of music lessons to 130 students in West Orange. We also launched the Families for Safe Streets New Jersey chapter in 2017 and the Youth Advisory Board in 2018. You will be hearing about these two programs later in the morning. And all of this we have been able to do with the help of support of the community and our sponsors. So I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors for supporting us despite the hardships that many of these corporations are facing due to COVID-19. The event is kicking off today. However, the race to raise the funds, it does not end today. We will continue to register people through this week. So you have an option to complete your challenge either today or anytime during this week until Sunday, September 20th. And we will gladly accept donations until the end of this month. Donations that come in until the end of this month will count towards your teams. So continue to promote the Stop for Nikhil. All of these funds that we raise goes 100% back into our programs. If you're tuned in, we would love to hear from you. So please keep those comments coming. And now, leading the ceremony is Nikhil's Scouts Troop 6 with the Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning, Enda. Enda, can you hear us? Enda, we cannot hear you. Enda, we cannot hear you.
Good morning, Sangeeta.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Should we start?
Please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Scout 6. And now we will have Gabby Florendo, a graduate of West Orange High School class of 2019, who will be singing the National Anthem. Hi, Gabby.
Hi.
Thanks for joining. I'm so sorry I was having some technical difficulties. Just like everyone else, we've had to adapt to this. So take it away.
Thank you. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, we're so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Gabby. That was beautiful as always. Thank you so much. Great job.
Thank you, guys.
And now moving right along, it is with great pleasure that I present West Orange Mayor Robert Parisi. We first met him at Nikhil's funeral. I have a very vague memory of it. But then we met him often to talk about the initiatives that we were undertaking, and he has provided us unconditional support. So, Mayor Parisi, thanks for joining us, and please share your thoughts with us.
Morning. I hope everyone can hear me.
Yes.
Wonderful. I get nervous with all this technology. I'd like to start by offering my praise to Gabby on her performance of the Star Spangled Banner. We appreciate that today. Thank you. That was lovely, and welcome, of course, to the Boy Scouts for joining us as well. I'd also like to welcome our Congresswoman Sherrill, our Assemblyman John McKeon, and of course, good morning and welcome to our Superintendent, Dr. Scott Cascone, and our Principal, Mr. Hayden Moore. Good morning and welcome, of course, to all those joining us today. And thanks to Sangeeta and Sunil and the Badlani family and all the members of the foundation for overcoming a lot of the challenges that have been presented by this pandemic to continue this important event this year. And with each passing year, we can count more and more of the people that are safer on our roads because of the work of the foundation. But like any important and successful program, not only do they teach, but they inspire. And the conversation started by the Badlani Foundation has inspired in large part the work of the Pedestrian Safety Advisory Board here in West Orange. And under the leadership of Councilman Jerry Garino and the dedicated volunteers, they have secured several grants for improving safety and road conditions throughout our community. They work with our traffic department to install traffic signs to make neighborhoods safer. And the Complete Streets program that they have adopted here in town has actually become part of our master plan. And much of that work has been inspired by the Badlani Foundation. And today, we celebrate this 10th annual run. We celebrate all the local students that have benefited from music programs of the foundation and from students and people safety across the state benefiting from the safe driving education. But more importantly, today we celebrate the contributions, the very important contributions made to our community in honor and in loving memory of Nikhil. Have a great day.
Thank you, Mayor Parisi, for your kind words. Again, we are so appreciative of all the support that you have provided us over the last year and hope that you will continue to do so. So thank you. Our next keynote speaker is a woman who flew missions throughout Europe and the Middle East as a Sea King helicopter pilot. She served as a Russian police officer, and currently she represents the New Jersey's 11th Congressional District. I met her back in 2018 when she was running for Congress. It is my honor to present Congresswoman Sherrill. Congresswoman, good morning. Can you hear me?
Hi, how are you? Can you hear me?
Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, I mean, this has been a bit of a challenge, I have to say, technologically for me. I don't know if you are facing the same thing.
Yep. It's so hard running these events. It's easier logging on, but running everybody is really difficult.
Right. So again, I appreciate you taking the time to, join us and, speak with us. But there was an issue that I wanted to talk about, each year, as you know, nationwide, 40,000 people die in motor vehicle crashes. And in New Jersey, each year, around 600 people die in crashes. Pedestrians and cyclists' deaths have been on the rise. And not enough is being done to prevent these tragedies. In your perspective, what can the lawmakers and the government do to prevent these traffic deaths?
Sure. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for inviting me to take part in this wonderful event. As you can imagine, as a mom of 4 kids, this is so incredibly important to me. And we've just heard so many sad stories. And I remember first meeting you at Elizabeth's house and hearing all about Nikhil and your incredible work to help put a stop to all this. I want to say thank you to Mayor Parisi and Assemblyman McKeon, who I know are also participating today. Both have been wonderful community partners since I was elected to office. And I want to welcome our superintendent principal from the West Orange School District. So I hear you. We can all learn from your experience and how we can fight this. Nikhil was a gifted musician. So now you help so many students through music lessons and academic help. So I love how you've emerged from this to make our community stronger, and every child should really be safe on our roads. I encourage everyone to follow your example, which shows how grassroots organizations and advocacy can change policy and transform lives, and for your commitment to traffic safety. We're looking into potential legislation to support the Nikhil Badlani Foundation. I know a major priority of yours is to enact a statewide Vision Zero plan this year to eliminate traffic deaths. And I think that is a great a great thing to work on at the state. And I would love to have federal legislation support things like Vision Zero for cities across the country, passing legislation that could provide grant funding to cities to develop these types of plans. And funding could then be used to study which city streets are most dangerous for drivers, redesign those dangerous streets and introduce speeding enforcement cameras in those areas.
Love
So
that.
yeah,
Love
so
that.
our office will follow up, but that's just one of the ways I see the federal government being able to help support that effort.
Thank you. Thank you. And that is exactly what we're looking to do. You know, I mean, we have had speed safety cameras, and we'll hear later on in the program, in several of the states. However, it's not there in New Jersey. And that's a good segue to bring now Assemblyman McKeon on here. So let's hear from Assemblyman McKeon. He has been,
Hello.
hello, Assemblyman McKeon. Now, he has been a champion for the Nikhil's Law, and he represents the 27th Legislative District, which covers the western portion of Essex County. So, Assemblyman McKeon, just going back to our conversation with Congresswoman Sherrill, I'm not putting you on the spot, but
Yes, whatever it is, yes.
whatever it is. Oh, yay, great. All right. So what can we do here to prevent traffic deaths? And just for the viewers, I also want to just talk about Vision Zero. Everybody talks about Vision Zero, but you know, nobody knows what really it is. But just at the very high level, Vision Zero was first adopted by Sweden in 1997. And this is a strategy to eliminate all traffic fatalities and serious injuries on our roadways while increasing safe, healthy, and equitable mobility for all. Now, Vision Zero has proved successful across Europe, and now it's also gaining momentum in cities and states in United States of America. And in New Jersey also, we have Jersey City and Hoboken looking to adopt Vision Zero, right? And recently we formed the Vision Zero Alliance for New Jersey, which comprises of families, advocates, and nonprofits who are committed to Vision Zero. And we would like the New Jersey lawmakers to pass a Vision Zero policy with the goal of eliminating traffic deaths and serious injuries by 2040. And we do have 45 states or cities that have committed to this Vision Zero, or they are in the process of committing to it. So do you think Vision Zero for New Jersey is achievable goal?
Well, thank you for that question. And since a lot of the background about Vision Zero was spoken through yourself, if you don't mind, just on this 10th anniversary, I want to just extend to you and your entire family just my admiration for everything that you've done. If ever a family could have kind of just been embittered and not part of the whole, you guys would have had good reason for that. But instead that you've been just a constant inspiration for this entire community, for the state at this point, with the work that you're doing that's extending down to Trenton. So I thank you for that from the bottom of my heart. It seems like April was a long time ago now, but just getting an email from you saying, hey, John, let's be a part of at 5 o'clock today, all honking our horns to thank the first responders. So you don't stop and you don't stop inspiring me. So I really do admire
Thank
you.
you.
So good politician, right? I was tap dancing around the question.
I was not going to say that, but yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do I think it's achievable? It's a goal. It reminds me very similar to our, energy independence to try to be carbon free by 2040. It's something to strive for. You and your advocacy group have been down to Trenton, now that our law since 2015, has been in place. And I was trying to calculate, by the way, the number of new drivers that have taken the test, that have taken the pledge since 2015. And I think that number is probably about almost 500,000 at this point. So, just think you've had 500,000 people in this state take the pledge through that law. And I know how much you're involved in the SUS law that my friend Benji Wimberly is sponsoring concerning mandatory, drug and alcohol testing at any type of pedestrian death, which will hopefully be the law in the state. And thank you for that advocacy. My colleague, Senator Ruiz, it's not exactly called Vision Zero, but has a piece of legislation in to put together a task force on pedestrian safety, again, with a goal of significant reductions. With this coming, I kind of reached out to her to see if she might be in a position to amend a little bit to particularly reference Vision Zero and setting that goal. And then I believe she's going to be amenable to do it. So, so once again, through the advocacy of the foundation, you're going to make an impact and difference. And hopefully when we're not just solely focused on the craziness with the budget and the COVID related legislation, we'll get a chance to get back to regular business and bring that to fruition and make that the law and save lives. So thank you for, again, for putting this together in this extraordinary year. Again, admiration is a simple word for what I have for you and your family, but a sincere one.
Thank you. And you know that you haven't seen or heard from, this is not the last of it. And so you will be hearing from me again very soon. Like I said, we will continue to, as advocates, continue to push for Vision Zero policy. And we look forward to, connecting with you and Senator Lewis regarding this and see, how we can bring this to New Jersey.
And, you and the advocacy group from West Orange have been to Trenton once, so we have to get you down there again.
Absolutely.
And now it's not my invitation to give, but I bet my friend, Congresswoman Sherrill, will be happy to have you down to Washington as well.
We will totally love that. Well, thank you again and have a wonderful day. And I hope you're going to be running or walking or doing something,
I've got my three daughters and and Annie, and we're about to do our 5K as soon as we're finished with the ceremonies today.
Great. Thank you again. And we will be in touch very soon.
Thank you, Sanjeev.
Okay, our next presenters are, we have Dr. Cascone, who's the superintendent of West Orange School District, and principal of high school, Hayden Moore. He really, both of them, don't require any introduction from me, especially in West Orange communities. So without further ado, I invite Dr. Cascone and Hayden to come on and share the thoughts about this event as well as what this means to them. I know I saw you and then you disappeared, and this has been like at the end of this, when I'm going to watch my recording, I'll see all the fumbling that I have done. So thank you for being patient, and I'm going to now bring Principal Moore also. So while I bring him on, and so we are doing our social distance, and my mask will go on. So thank you for joining, and let's find out from you all.
Well, good morning.
How are you, buddy?
Always great to have Mr. Moore partnered up. It's great partner in our mission here in West Orange, and I know a great supporter of the community. And Sangeeta, no apologies necessary for the fumbling. You're doing a great job with a very complex endeavor here. And as we start our first day of school on Monday, I think it'll be a common theme. But at the end of the day, it's not about being perfect. It's about accomplishing the mission. And today, you accomplish with your foundation, Sunil, your community partners, a very important mission, which is recognizing the 10th anniversary. And once again, I'd like to echo Assemblyman McKeon's, just kind of admiration and compliments for seeing this mission through to fruition. As a relative newcomer to West Orange, the Stop for Nikhil Walk was one of my big community events that I participated in, and I was tremendously impressed just by the commitment of the community, the togetherness of the community. It obviously speaks volumes about your passion and Sunil's and the foundation's passion for the work, but also just the mettle, if you will, of the community. I'm very honored, obviously, to be here and joining other dignitaries, Congressman Sherrill, Assemblyman McKeon, Mayor Parisi, and of course, Mr. Moore. On behalf of the Board of Education, we thank you We have a team in this year, and we're committing our donations to the Youth Advisory Council. One of a number of the important things that the foundation does, but this one is in particular value to me as the superintendent, as the board, because anytime an organization can kind of foster student leadership and build at a young age students who are actively involved in their communities, advocating for change in their communities, that is exactly the type of thing we're trying to accomplish in our school system. And so it's with great pride that we donate for that. And so I congratulate you really for this undertaking. You have a beautiful blue sky there on this day, as it should be. And wish you all the best for a successful event and reaching your goals and continuing the great work that you're doing for the benefit of our communities, of our state, and for the safety and well-being of its citizens. So thank you. And at this time, I'll turn it over to my colleague, Mr. Hayden Moore. Mr. Moore.
I appreciate that, Doc. And you couldn't say things better, couldn't say it better. But I think that it's me that should say thank you to all of you, starting with our Congresswoman, our Assemblyman, our Mayor, our Superintendent, and Sangeeta and Sunil, and Ane. 10 years ago, we started this, and I was here 10 years ago every day, every time we had it, and I have a bunch of t-shirts to prove it. But besides the bunch of t-shirts and all, it is an incredible community event that brings us together for our mountaineer, Nikhil, who we will never forget. But I thank Sunil and Sangeeta for turning their pain into progress and perseverance of life. Because of their work, our students are not only able to just, understand driving through our driver's ed classes, but they have awareness of the safety and dangers of driving and the importance of the responsibility of it. Throughout our building, there is artwork from that youth advisory that Dr. Cascone spoke so nicely about. That youth advisory has two murals in our school that's significant. One is a mural that's in our cafeteria that adorns our cafeteria during lunch that reminds students about the safety and what it takes to drive safely. But the second is a thumbprint in the middle of our hallway in which we have a mural that was beautifully designed, but what's significant about it is that students take the pledge and they commit, once they've studied for their test and got their permit, by putting their thumbprint upon our wall in the middle of the hallway, stating that they're aware of these things and that they will apply these safety measures. So yeah, it's terrific, but it's not without their dedication and their sharing of their pain. We will never forget them. They're a significant family in West Orange, but they've expanded past West Orange, and we understand that. But I am the one that benefits, and my students benefit from their scholarship funds that fund much of the music for many of our students, making sure there's equity there. And this walk in commitment and the awareness. So to me, I say thank you to all our leadership, all of you guys, our assembly, our Congresswoman, our Assemblyman, our Mayor, our Superintendent, to Sangeeta and to Sunil and to Ane. Thank you so much for giving us something that is not only just a great thing to learn and educate it, but also saving lives. I thank you for that. And I hope we continue to do it, and I'll be here every step of the way. But I think, the best way for a principal to prove how great his school is for you to meet his students. So Dr. Cascone, if you don't mind, I'd like to introduce one of my mountaineers to speak on behalf of our district. And I'll thank you on behalf of our district and our high school. One of my favorite mountaineers who has really gotten tall over COVID, who can talk a little bit more about youth advisory and some of the things that we're doing, and also an inspiration to other mountaineers in our building. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Ane Bedlani. Ane, come on out and show the people what we did. Bye, everyone. Dr. Cascone, goodbye. Have a good day. Bye-bye to our dignitaries as well.
Thank you, Mr. Moore, for that introduction. So a little bit more about the Youth Advisory Board. So our mission is to empower students to make a difference in our community by making traffic safety improvements, not only in our town, but in our state. And our board consists of 3 groups: the Municipal Committee, Education Committee, and the Public Policy Committee. Um, the Municipal Committee works with the West Orange Pedestrian Safety Advisory Board to make traffic safety improvements in our town, and we've made quite a few already. The Education Committee is steadfast in their mission to educate teens on dangers of distracted driving and the importance of pedestrian safety. And in the Public Policy Committee, over the last year, we have been heavily advocating for 2 bills, the Michelle Sue bill and bill number 1354, which we are hopeful that this year we can sign into a law. And in 2018, we entered into a competition called the You Got Brains competition, and we actually won the school a $12,000 driving simulator for all students to use in their 10th grade classrooms.
Thank you, Ane. And so, Ane, as we do in every year, we're going to do this Stop for Nikhil Safety Pledge that others can take. So,
You want me to do it?
yes. So, in 2011, this boy, 5-year-old kid, had led the people to the safety pledge, the Stop for Nikhil Safety Pledge. And 10 years later now, he is still continuing to lead the people. However, he bears no resemblance to what he looked like when he was 5 years old. So now, Ane, as in the past years, can you lead us all through the Stop for Nikhil Safety Pledge?
Of course. All right. So all drivers and to-be drivers, please raise your hand with me in taking the safety pledge. All right. In order to ensure the safety of others in the road, passengers in my car, and myself as a driver, I pledge to obey traffic rules when driving and to be extremely cautious and supremely attentive. Specifically, I will stop completely. I will come to a complete halt at any stop sign and will never go through a red light. Stay alert. I will strive to keep my hands on the road and my mind on the road. Talk safe. I will use a hands-free cell phone system while driving, and I will not text or use a headset unless I pull over. And lastly, plan ahead. I will give myself an extra 5 minutes to get to any destination. Thank you.
Thanks, Ane, for reading this and reminding us again and again to be safe and to drive safely. And you need to really educate your peers about driving safety. So our next group of presenters and I have one thing in common. They've all experienced a loss of a loved one or a serious injury in a traffic crash. These are folks who have channeled their grief into action and now advocate for safer streets. They are members of Families for Safe Streets. The first Families for Safe Streets chapter originated in New York City, I think it was in 2014. And now there are over 15 chapters across the nation. This is a group that no one should belong to. Let's hear from them what other cities and states are doing on preventing these traffic deaths. Thank you everyone for joining. I do appreciate it. And, so I think we're going to start from, I want to start from east to west. So Debbie, why don't you share, because you represent the New York City chapter and you were the first group to initiate the Families for Safe Streets. So tell us a little bit more about what New York City is doing.
Hi, my name is Debbie Kahn, and I'm a founding member of Families for Safe Streets in New York City. 11 years ago, my only child, my kind, caring, creative, funny, talented son, my 22-year-old son, Seth, was run over and killed by a reckless bus driver while Seth was walking across the street in a crosswalk with the right of way. Not a day goes by that I do not miss my son dearly. After my son was killed, I struggled for years to find meaning in my life, until in 2014, we formed Families for Safe Streets. With chapters forming across the country, we have begun a national movement to end this epidemic. Through helping others going through the same situation as myself and fighting to save others by advocating for street safety, I learned that my story can help save lives. By saving others, I saved myself. Families for Safe Streets offers a support community with monthly meetings, peer mentoring, friends groups, online support groups, logistical assistance, resource guides in several languages, a website filled with valuable information, and a lot more. In our first year, we celebrated a major victory in New York City in getting the speed limit lowered to 25 miles an hour. We won our campaign for speed safety cameras all across the city after building a coalition of over 300 organizations, hosting vigils and marathons, delivering 400 boxes of pudding to an obstinate state senator, and even going to jail.
Yep.
I always wanted to call my mother from jail to come and bail me out. At 94 years old, she laughed, and I meant it. From transforming the Boulevard of Death, Queens Boulevard, to getting reckless drivers off the road with the Dangerous Driver Abatement Program, and so much more. Legislatively, we are currently working on the Crash Victims Bill of Rights, which would give New Yorkers involved in traffic crashes the same rights as crime victims. We are committed to working with elected officials to end the public health epidemic of traffic violence. Join us to get dangerous drivers off the road, hold reckless drivers accountable after a crash, and demand that all streets are designed for safety. We fight to end all traffic violence because no death or life-altering injury is acceptable. We believe no one should have to endure the physical, emotional, and spiritual trauma of traffic violence alone. Together, we can end this epidemic so no one else has to suffer. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you. And this is my son's death.
And so I met Debbie back in 2015, or maybe it was 2017, actually, at the Vision Zero conference in New York City. And we have stayed in touch. In fact, everyone that's in this group, I met them at the Vision Zero City conference, and we have connected in a way that it's because of a common cause. And so moving along and staying on the East Coast, Aisha, DC, what's happening in the DC area?
Thank you, Sangeeta, and good morning, everyone. My name is Aisha Gadiali. I'm part of the steering committee of Washington, DC, Families for Safe Streets. About 2 years ago, I was crossing a major street in downtown DC, and I was struck by an SUV. I was on a pedestrian marked crosswalk. I'm very lucky. I had to have surgery on my face in order to chew and breathe normally. I was in a wheelchair with broken bones in both my legs. But with the support of family and friends, I was able to get better and learn about what was going on DC streets. I learned about Vision Zero and that any death on the street due to traffic is unacceptable. Through Families for Safe Streets in DC, we have advocated and publicly testified at City Hall for the Vision Zero Omnibus Bill. This bill reduces the miles per hour limit in DC to 20 miles per hour and reduces the number of right turns on red lights. It also protects sidewalks and promotes a network of protected bike lanes throughout the district. I'm happy to say that the first reading of this bill passed the City Council in July, It will go to a second reading at the end of this month and then go to the mayor's office and will
Yay.
hopefully pass.
That's great.
We'll be rooting for you over here, Aisha.
Thank you. On a personal note, I would like to say that I'm from the tri-state area. I have many nieces and nephews in Freehold and Bloomfield. I want them to be able to walk and bike and skate safely in New Jersey. If New Jersey becomes a leader on Vision Zero now, by the time my nieces and nephews are old enough to drive and take the Nikhil Badlani pledge, New Jersey can drastically eliminate all unnecessary deaths. Other countries have done it. We can do it too. Thank you for the opportunity to share my story.
Thank you, Aisha. Thank you. And now moving to the middle of Americas, to Texas, Kathy.
Hey everybody, I'm Kathy Sikolik from Central Texas Families for Safe Streets. On September 12th, 2016, so 4 years ago yesterday, my 9-year-old nephew Ben was hit by a pickup truck in front of his home. While Ben is still alive, he actually requires 24-hour care from nursing staff. He cannot speak, walk, or do anything on his own. And at first there was hope for recovery, but after 4 years, we realized that recovery is unlikely. I joined my local Vision Zero group here in Austin, Texas, because I was really, really angry. I couldn't believe this happened, and there had to be something I could do, some change I could make, so this didn't happen to others. I found Families for Safe Streets and knew there were others sharing their own pain for change, and I knew I had found others who were fighting alongside me. What we start at home changes the world. The efforts we make in our own cities expands to state and federal levels. In Austin, we've had success with our local electeds supporting Vision Zero, which is spread throughout the Texas Department of Transportation. We're a big state, y'all. We got a lot of roads. We're making change by sharing our stories, our pain, with those who can create policy. Thank you so much for having us here, Sangeeta, and for your event.
Well, thank you. And now moving along to the West Coast. We have Jerry and John, and I am so appreciative. It must be what, 6:45 over there right now. So you've been up since like 6 on this call. And so we really appreciate you coming on, and we want to hear what's happening in LA, in South California.
You want me to begin, Sangeeta? I'll start. Hi, everybody. I'm Jerry Lynch, and you guys got me up really early this morning. I've actually been up since 4 a.m. I'm so excited. I guess that it reminds me of what we would be doing, getting ready for an event here in Los Angeles. My son, Connor Lynch, was killed. It'll be 10 years on October 19th, 2010. And he was crossing the street for cross-country training at Notre Dame High School and was killed by an 18-year-old distracted hit and run non-licensed driver. It happened, well, I found out later, during a National Teen Driver Safety Week. And I guess that sort of led me to, research what was going on with distracted driving at that time. So like you, I started the Connor Lynch Foundation and did a lot of runs. Coming up will be our 10th anniversary. And, it turned into a celebration of life. I think it's good to know that it's not just on the East Coast. It's not just in one city. It's across the nation and actually global. But, we don't want our loved ones to be a statistic. And I think allowing us, thank you so much, to share our stories is really helpful. And we used to run, well, we still do. Hopefully we'll do it again. I have 2 other boys, and we did triathlons and runs. And I'm just so excited that all of you are going to get out there and do your running, your walking, or your biking. But when you do it, really, be careful out there and pay attention and put your phones down. In Los Angeles, we're proud to say that we've adopted Vision Zero. On the other hand, we haven't done such a great job, and we've had more pedestrian deaths over the last several years. So we are not going in the right direction. We've also become the hit and run capital, I think, of our nation. So there's a lot of work to be done. So allowing us to share these messages, to share these stories with this group that I love. I'm looking forward to working with you guys at the Vision Zero conference, albeit virtually. You know, there's a lot to be done everywhere. We need your help and we need you to be safe out there. I also work with John Yee. He's the executive director of LA Walks and also the director of SoCal Families for Safe Streets, of which I am a member. And he's going to tell you about all the things that we're doing with these organizations. And again, I wish you the best of luck, great success. Thank you for your 10 years. I mean, it's a lot of work to put these together, and the virtual event so far has been really great. And I hope it's a really big success for everybody. Stay safe out there and don't drive intoxicated. Bye, everyone.
Jerry. John.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Jerry. Again, props go out to Jerry. She's sort of my partner in crime in doing all the organizing work we do for SoCal Families for Safe Streets. Before I dive in, I just want to give a shout out to New Jersey. I actually grew up in New Jersey. I lived in Princeton. My parents live in New Milford. I lived in Bergen County. So I'm a Jersey boy at heart. And you know, it was New Jersey where I learned to take New Jersey Transit into New York City. It was New Jersey where I took the buses into New York City. And so I sort of grew up in this culture and this really rich tradition of connecting the suburbs to the city. And I was sort of lived that. And I didn't really realize what that meant to me until I moved to Los Angeles, where it was so car centric. And so, yeah, it's really exciting to see the work that's happening in New Jersey. And I'll have to make sure my parents are connected with it. They're still out there. So a little bit about Los Angeles Walks, but also about Families for Safe Streets. You know, we are operating in a very interesting city. You know, in Los Angeles, every 36 hours, an Angelino is killed in a car crash. The leading cause of death for elementary and middle school children in LA are car crashes. Mm-hmm. And so it's not just something about infrastructure, it's an actual health epidemic that is national, but from LA, it's super acute, especially for communities of color, for immigrant communities, for women, and especially for seniors. So we definitely have a huge crisis here. And so Jerry shared a little bit about what we do, but we know some basic stuff is we have our bi-monthly meetings. And really, I think one of the strengths, at least with our chapter, is, you know, we're a collection of families, but in a way, we're also a collection of family foundations. The Connor Lynch Foundation, which Jerry was mentioning, is one of a number of different family foundations. There's another one called Street Racing Kills that focuses specifically on street racing. We have another family foundation that talks about hit and runs. And so definitely it's a collection of power in a way. And that's, I think, the one thing that really makes our group super unique. We've done policy actions, such as last year, we went to, or was it this year? When the Democrats were having their presidential debate in Los Angeles, some of our parents actually went out with signs and posters to really raise visibility about traffic fatalities. We also did a joint letter to our state senator, our US Senator Kamala Harris. We also have a program with LA City called Rainbow Halo, where we put up these Rainbow Halo memorials to memorialize pedestrians. And it's interesting, when the program first rolled out, it got a lot of criticism from folks on our end, which is like, why are we just doing thoughts and prayers for pedestrian deaths? And it was completely legit. And so what we're doing with this program is we're using it to remind the city of its commitment to Vision Zero, as Jerry was mentioning, which is to go 0 deaths by 2025 in like 4.5 years, which is not going to happen. So again, it's important for us to keep pushing these messages. And then finally, if I was to summarize what we do, I think it's just one of two things. We create space to network and build community, and then opportunities for action. I think by providing those two simple things, especially when everyone's social distancing, has been a really great way just to build community and network. And so I think moments like this is just a part of that. So really glad to be here with you all. Looking forward to being partners with you. So thank you.
Thank you all for sharing your thoughts, and I look forward to continue to work with you over the World Day of Remembrance that's coming up in November, and then also the Vision Zero City Conference. So thank you again, and Jerry and John, try and catch some Z's now while you can before your day begins. And Debbie, Aisha, and Kathy, I thank you all.
My sister lives in New Jersey, and her children went to West Orange High School.
Oh, wow. Look at that. What a coincidence.
So we all have this connection.
Yes.
To you. Your family.
I'm a participant. I'm a participant in your event, so I'm going to not go to sleep. I'm going to go out and get my run on.
I'm going to be doing the same right after the ceremony. So thank you, and we will see you soon.
We applaud you. Thank you.
Okay, so moving right along to the last part, we have, as usual, we put in every year we award, we have an inspiration award, and so let's find out who's going to be the recipient this year. So it is, I met this mother back in, I think it was back in like 2015 or 2016 at a driver's ed conference. And we shared a common story. She lost her 19-year-old daughter, Sarah, in 2007 in a car crash. Since then, Betty has worked relentlessly in passing the Sarah's Law, which is the next of kin registry. So anyway, so just to give you all a little background on the next of kin registry. So Sarah was killed, but they couldn't find her next of kin. They didn't have any information. So it took the police officers and the first responders about an hour and a half to find Betty and her family. And so they have come up with the next of kin registry. Now people can actually sign up for that. And so that is what the next of kin registries. I highly encourage you to do that, because sometimes the first responders don't have that information. And so it's very important for people to know and to be notified in an emergency situation. I want to thank everyone for tuning in right now. And so we have people gathered over here. And Sunil, can I share?
On your marks, get set, go.
Please post your photos and videos. We want to see you walking, running, biking, whatever you're doing for your challenge. And thank you again for tuning in. And we hope to see you next year in 2021.